have to do all the intros again.
No.
We'll just do them real quick. Well, I'm just going to set those aside.
only
We'll
got
just
through
talk
two.
about them later.
Stylo!
I think I hear it now.
Feel free to join in with the screaming of pain of
It's fixed.
Stylo. Is it fixed?
Oh, the audio came in just in time for me screaming Stylo.
Great. So now that is how we're going to fix the audio from now on. We'll just all scream Stylo! And it will work out.
Yes.
So anyway, as I was saying, Ted Kaczynski down that away. That would be Chris Kellogg. He's got a bunch of stuff. Rob Kelly was about to talk about his ill-gotten gains from the Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Got more, but I'll show you a couple. Battle Arena Torshinden, the first one for Sega Saturn. It's awful, and I
baller.
love it.
Yeah.
And then I actually got a copy of Albert Odyssey for the Japanese version for Sega Saturn. And for people that don't know, this is like a $200-300 game in America. And I actually have the capabilities of playing Japanese games on my Sega Saturn, and it was only $5. So I decided to pick it up and give it a try.
Nice.
Kind of just more so, since I do not speak or read Japanese, more so of a collector's item for me, but still really fun. And the event was amazing.
I did feel kind of bad that your entire point of going was to go see Angry Video Game Nerd, and there was no way in hell that was going to happen.
No, that's very true, but, in full admittance, I got to see Pat the NES Punk. I forgot to tell you this, Steven. On the train ride home, I talked to famous YouTuber Ben Heck.
Nice.
Which, if you guys don't know who he is, he's a really cool tech YouTuber that he just, makes really fun gaming stuff. Like, his latest episode, he made a wireless universal gaming remote for all retro consoles.
Wow.
So he just does stuff like that. He's super cool, and he's really informative. If you have not seen his show on YouTube, check it out. Ben Heck is super cool. So I got to see, Pat the NES Punk, Ben Heck, and I didn't get to see James Rolfe, but as soon as we walked in and I saw the, essentially the flea market style setup that they had for all games, I was just like, well, this is my mecca. That's whatever song would be playing in my mecca.
Okay.
I like
We're all
that Mecha
gonna-
song.
That's
What he means, folks, is Mecha Godzilla. That's what he
That's
means.
right.
Please send all
Mecca Babura Trisando.
I was about to say Mecca Babu Sasson.
Please send all hate mail to the contact us form at torchforkmob.com. I'm assuming it's there. If it's not, just
We need that
scream
LLC
at
status really soon so we can be protected.
Yeah, just scream at your screen until someone cares. Speaking of people that don't care, we're going to move on to the next person. I'm going to leave Caitlin to last. Eli, he is the Game Show host on every Thursday. He is also the resident, holy shit, how can he drink that much? He's in space. Hi, Eli. How you doing?
Hello. This is a constellation behind me, by the way.
I thought that
For
was
those
the
of you
inside
that
a
don't
spaceship.
know, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, as you were saying, I do the game show on Thursdays. It's fun. You can come out and play us, and if you win, you get a free game.
Exactly.
Nice.
And we just recently debuted we didn't, Jackbox Games did, but we decided to ride on the coattails of that, and we played the Jackbox
Part Pack 3.
Yes, which had a kick-ass game called TKO, which we all love and adore.
I am waiting for my shirt to come in. I still haven't gotten the shipment confirmation on that, though. I'm kind of pissed about that.
Maybe it went
I'm
to
gonna
your...
slap him in the no-no place.
Yeah.
I checked my spam folder. It's not there. I want that fucking shirt. And, I looked up the order information on the website. It still says in printing.
Mm.
Well,
That's not good.
I can't imagine it takes that long to print a fuckface and a slap him in the no-no place trademark Torchfork Mob.
The TFM shirt I ordered has already been printed. I got the shipping notification on it yesterday, and it says I should be getting it on Friday.
And
The
we are
TFM
looking
shirt I ordered came the day I bought and made it.
Okay, but that's different. You made it yourself.
The
That
shirt
counts.
I ordered never came because I never ordered one. But Chris Kellogg's sending me one, so
I
it's
haven't
kind
sent
of like
it
I
yet.
did something.
You did ask for the one that
I did. I
bought,
asked
on
and received.
Vistaprint.
So boom.
So
Done.
that
Oh,
being
you know what
said-
else I got though? Because Vistaprint, they know how to get you. I ordered 3 T-shirts, and then at the end they're like, "Oh, do you want a mouse pad?" And it looked like this, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I want that mouse pad."
That's
It came out
awesome.
really well. So now I rock the Torchfork Mob mouse pad, which hopefully everyone else in the world will be able to buy one of these.
In yet another instance of putting the horse's ass before the cart, or the cart before the horse, yes, there will be swag. There will be such swag.
I am working on setting that up. We've just been encountering some problems with fucking websites being idiots.
So that being said, we ourselves are about to be idiots, but finally, last and certainly not least, the reason anybody's actually probably watching, that's not a bot, Caitlin, who just before the show technically sort of live streamed her address and her pizza order to us before we went live.
I did? No,
Well, we were
you
listening
guys-
in on your whole
you guys
phone
know where I
conversation
live.
with the pizza place.
It was
We
really
now
worth
know-
it for the
Hey.
deer in headlights thing, I'm sorry.
Caitlin, we now
guys
know
know
what
where
you
I live.
eat, where you eat, when you order it, your blood type.
We
That
also have a stool
And
sample.
your credit score.
Can you tell me my blood type and credit score? Because I have no idea.
if we cut you in half and count the rings, but if anybody wants to buy that crucial information from us, we may also put that up for sale on our swag store when we get
Might
that
be a
up.
giveaway. You never know.
It definitely could be a giveaway. But anyway, that being said, Caitlin, turn your friggin' mic volume up. And what the hell is the point of this show? We basically look at the best and the worst, mostly the worst, of what Steam and other platforms have to offer, because we're not, racist. We like all platforms equally. Unfortunately, we focus on PC because, well, that's where most of the shit is. Yeah, shush. Platformist? I don't know what the term would be. Anyway, we're going to get right into it. We have a bunch of, I think they're games. I question at least 3 of them, whether or not they're games or not. So we're going to get into the first one. Nekuia. Nekuia is going to be the first game, and the notes here, the handy-dandy notes, are 2D platformer, fast action, based around rapid movement and light. Like anything that's shown on a monitor.
Just say, aren't all video games like rapid movement and light at the end
What
of it?
about Limbo? It's a dark game.
There's some
Doesn't
rapid
involve a lot of light.
Yeah, I guess.
Just
you got it
saying.
there.
Oh,
There's
I
games
still
that
want to play
specifically deal with darkness.
inside. I haven't gotten around to playing inside yet.
Oh, I want to play that too. No, looking at this trailer, it looks fun, and I don't mean to sound like jackassy when I say this, but this looks very fun. Looks really great if it was on a cell phone. Like
You know
if
what's,
if I could do the taps with my cell phone.
Yeah, actually, it is a little mobile-ish.
And I
Although
say
it
that
does-
say that because I don't know if I would enjoy this game as much clicking as much as using like my phone as the screen and using my hand to guide the light.
Yeah,
It just looks like the most epic wall jump, like sort of labyrinth fest, and it kind of reminds me of like when people play Mega Man at a really high level. Kind of looks like
Mhm.
this, although maybe not quite like this. And that involves some shooting, but still, that's kind of what I get out of it.
It's kind of like it, but nothing at all, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Well,
It's kind of like it, but
I think it's
not
more
even
the
mildly.
wall
Kinda
jumping
like
and the
it in the
avoiding of
sense
like
there's red and
spikes.
green and blue.
Lots of wall jumping and spikes. Come on, those are 2 very classic elements of Mega Man. And yes, the blue can't ignore.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, Chris, when you said that, I thought you were talking about actually like the speed and movement of the light. I was like, actually, that's pretty true for how fast like speed.
That a little bit as well, honestly. Like it's kind of that's what I'm saying. Like I just remembered watching Dan play the other day, and he was basically like bouncing around constantly, jumping off of walls, trying to avoid spikes, and then of course he had to shoot things every now and again. But so that, in many ways, this is kind of like missing maybe that last aspect of it. Like maybe it could use a little more than just wall jumping, because I have a feeling this would like get a little repetitive pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Mega Man can honestly get a little repetitive, but
You shush your mouth.
I think this just
Repetitive. He saves the world over and over again. That's not repetitive. That's helpful.
Oh, well, he does it in various combinations though. So I mean, I guess that doesn't make him less of a hero.
That being said, I do have to agree, and it's not a knock, although we do that a lot on this show. It does feel more like a mobile or a tablet game, just from the look of it, honestly. I feel like this is something where you could just tap all over the place and tap, 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 win. But that being said, it's not an unusual mechanic, wall jumping. I mean, we see it in a lot of retro games, but is this really something you'd want to see on a bigger platform? That's the better question, I think. Eli, do you have any thoughts?
To me, it looks overly simplistic for my taste. It looks like a lot of just angling your bounce off of one thing or another.
I agree with that.
It doesn't particularly appeal to me at all. Like, they show you doing that in a lot of different sections of the game, but I want there to be a little more variance in what you're doing between different sections. I want it to actually, change things up over time. And it sounds like it looks like it mostly just changes things up by the pattern of the stuff that you're having to deal with. And I'm not really into that.
It doesn't look like there's a lot of addition to the gameplay. It looks like it just becomes more challenging as it goes on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you too. I think that, and actually going back to what Chris said before, is I think I would get, this game looks nice, but it's oversimplistic, and I think I would get bored pretty quick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in that case, just pretend. I mean, pretend you're just putting Navi through some weird saw-like maze.
All right,
Maybe
that's
just a
all
12
right.
chamber.
That,
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
honestly,
We need
that
a little
wouldn't
bit
be
more
enough because I wouldn't have enough opportunity to torture the shit out of that stupid fucking thing.
Well, then you keep throwing it at the wall, then.
Hey, listen. It kind of, though, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the name, I don't know why, just reminds me of a misspelling of Nokia. And so all I can do is, like, look at this and be like, oh, they misspelled Nokia. And then maybe this game belongs on a Nokia.
It took me a second to get what you were actually doing there with the, hey, listen.
I just wanted to let him keep going with that.
Being
But it
Navi.
worked, though. Stop.
After you started
It works,
going
dude. You
on
guys all shut up.
about the rest of it, I realized what you were doing, and I was like, fuck, man, that needs to it.
I'll do meat seeks later.
At least two of us probably start having Vietnam-style flashbacks from the Hey Listen. Caitlin, I
You're
think,
never too
probably
young
uses
to
one.
have a Vietnam
I'm so glad
flashback.
that's over. Like, this new fairy has a lot of attitude, and it's a lot less of a dick. I know that this quest started because Link was looking for Navi, but I say, universe, keep her. I'll keep
Hey,
Toggle.
listen.
Tiggle.
Only happens once.
Wait.
I don't know how to pronounce my new fairy's name, but I like this one. I'm keeping it.
That's true. The fairy in Majora's Mask was better than Navi, mostly because I don't know why pretty much every Zelda past Ocarina of Time freaking creators of the game were like, hey, I mean, we like have to annoy the gamer, right?
Yeah.
So we should put in
Well,
some
you know,
sort
and
of
in the
hey,
in the
what would we
version
call
for
this one?
3DS, they tell you to take breaks.
We'll call it fee. Yeah,
Wait,
that'll do it.
when did they tell me to take breaks? They never told me to take a break.
Oh, I
On
remember
the 3DS, yeah.
Yeah, on the
It
3D. I do remember actually
The Wii U
watching
would
you
too.
play and it being like, "Hey, don't forget to take a break. Do you want to take a break and save right now?" And like
You know
annoying
what,
shit
there's
like that.
Oh,
There's only two times where that's been appropriate. One is in Earthbound. If you play longer than 3 hours, your dad calls you and says, "Hey, kind of concerned about you. Are you gonna go home and save soon?" And it's
That's
really
funny.
sentimental and nice. And the other part
Actually,
is the freaking loading screen in Metal Gear Solid 4, and I love it because you just sit there and watch Snake smoke an entire cigarette while the thing lasts. I think that is just amazing.
that's hilarious.
But everything else, like adding that little perk that was added to the 3DS Ocarina, that's just annoying. And that gives Navi more opportunities to be stupid.
Well, you know, it's
Yeah.
actually it's funny that you mentioned that little thing too. I was playing the most recent Deus Ex, and one of the things they've used for the loading screen is like you take a subway between the different areas, and they actually show you like getting on the subway, and the loading screen is you like actually rendered in 3D, chilling on the subway, seeing the other people on the subway. Like depending what car you get on, if you get in the right part, like different things will look differently, and it's just kind of cool. Like I just wish more games would do cool stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I remember SSX3. The loading screen was you sitting in the lift.
In the chairlift.
The chairlift,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And I also like in the newest Doom game that came out,
Mhm.
and in Rocket League. Now when you like win and it's like, showing your players at the end, in Doom you can do like little dances like
Yeah, you
like
can
the
do
Charlton from Fresh Prince, or in Rocket League, you literally like can control your car and just do funny flips at the end. And I don't know.
that's-
That's like a small perk that's really easy to add and is always pretty hilarious.
And that's like what makes the difference between a good game and a bad game a lot of the times too. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Personality.
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Take
As
it-
long as
okay.
there's a little thing to do.
Here's a
Yeah.
good retro example. Earthworm Jim 2. Every time
Fuck yeah.
every time you beat a level, you just get sent to this cow screen where each button says moo in a different frequency. So you can just sit
Yup.
there and just do it. Moo, 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 for like minutes. And it's hilarious. And then you
That's
just
great.
continue on. And it has
Fucking-
nothing to do with the game.
It's
Fucking
awesome.
Earthworm Jim was too amazing for its time.
It was way, way, way too amazing. It's not
And
only
then-
like
and
hilarious, but it's awesome. It's
And
such
then
a
they
good
got
game.
to the 3D version and they fucked it all up. But
I
speaking
also admittedly
It was
think
an entirely different beast anyway.
I also
Yeah.
think Earthworm Jim 64 was fun. It's not as good. I still thought it was a good game. I
But that
liked it.
being said, I'm sure people are sick of watching blue balls bouncing all around. So we're going to move on to the next one.
They don't
uh,
bounce around. Blue balls stay in place and they hurt.
Well, they're bouncing around on the screen, so we're going to move forward. The next one is Walking
so.
Simulator 2016 with ghosts.
Oh.
It's called The Survey. It's yet another walking sim.
Can we just skip to the next one?
I really want to, but we gotta because we're contractually obligated to make people miserable. So
What, is someone
we're gonna-
paying us and giving us booze for this? I don't
we're
think so.
giving our
Hopefully,
for
I
this.
would like more booze to
I would
help
too.
make me not have to pay for some of the shit that I'm
So-
trying to make.
About the Patreon for booze. We're gonna move on to that one too. But yeah, let's get through this. Gird your loins, folks, because it's yet another walking sim. This
Okay, Steven, loins have been girded and
Good.
sphincter puckered for a while now.
you tighten that sucker up.
Guys, my mom is watching. No, I'm just kidding.
Is
Well,
she?
that sucks
Not
for her.
watching.
Is her
You told
loins
her
started
two
and
things?
things puckered too?
Yes. Everything must be
So,
puckered.
as we walk through the house here, you can see the lovely plants that I've placed around my house for basic aesthetic. The chairs and table are of simple Victorian style, and you can see the soup I didn't finish right there. As we pan into the next, this is the stupidest shit ever. God.
Also, like such a like
Walking simulators.
trope to have a television with static on it. Like that is the word. Like
I would
poltergeist,
love
that is a
instead
video
to have a
trope.
television
Totally
that's
trope.
talking directly to you on it. That would be kind of much creepier.
I now want to see a director's commentary track exactly like what Kelly just did
Mhm.
for one
Or,
of these.
or your home, like, can you imagine if the home movies you never made suddenly showed up on your TV? How
That would
creepy
be
would that
okay.
be?
that would
Like,
freak me
in
out
a
a lot.
se-
See,
like,
that's fair
And then just
fright.
showed you getting murdered by some dark figure, and you're
Oh
No,
yeah.
better yet, no, like shows like, I don't know, shows some kind of scene of you and a kid and there's someone in the background that you never recognize and it's like, why is he in all the pictures or whatever?
Wait,
Yes,
that's
in the
there
bedroom,
are
guys.
some-
Okay, that's called Slender Man.
yeah,
We've
Slender.
done that.
There
I
are
mean,
some
they
horror
did that
games.
The Grudge before Slender Man.
Now
They
there are
did
some
that a lot
horror
of stuff
games that have
before
actually.
Slender Man.
There are some horror games that have done something similar. Caitlin remembers this one probably.
This game actually is
Massachusetts.
starting to look like it
Oh
might
yeah,
get
yeah,
good.
that one was great.
Yeah, when you-
because the scary shit happened to the character, and all of that scariness was them just showing you what happened to the character.
But it wasn't just that. I think actually Kelly's onto something there. Where in Massachusetts, as you played, the further you got in the story, there'd be little text files, little plain text files left on your
Yeah.
desktop talking
Yeah.
to you, the player, from the
Mhm.
dev.
I actually
in
kept
that
them.
realm.
Neil Oldblood
I
said
kept
we
them
were going to be friends forever, so I kept them.
Yeah. So I would love it if games did more of that because I'm so tired of Walking Simulator 2016, and
Yeah,
that's all
seriously.
these horror games are.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't know. There just needs to be. Okay, I want to put it this way. I am very excited for Resident Evil 7
I'm
Biohazard
not.
because of the approach they're taking for it.
It's
Is
been
it too
done.
late to get Kelly off the stream?
Oh my
no.
god! I just saw in the trailer where the woman starts running at you and she looks like a bouncing marionette as she's running. Is that the best you can do, developers?
Seriously. But no,
Seriously.
I don't know. I'm excited for Resident Evil 7. They're like finally straying away from the action adventure that they've created because
Okay, that's
the games
good.
were not horror anymore.
Horror, but still, it doesn't even feel like a Resident Evil game based
Well,
on
it
that.
depends because
Few of
there's very high stipulation that this Resident Evil is going to be like, okay, You remember when you play the first Resident Evil, how it opens up with Jill and Chris explaining that there was the cannibal family that they like found around near Raccoon City, and that kind of like spawned the thing? There's like stipulation that it might be the telling of like that family. And then, well, the other thing too is, I don't know, I just have to admit, like, I thought Resident Evil 6 and even 5 were kind of shit. And I just got tired of this, like, non-horror like action adventure that you're essentially playing, because Resident Evil 4 was really good, and they still did a good job of making it actiony.
Another one.
They still did a good job of making it actiony, yet there was like parts that still frightened you, and it was a freaky game, and they just like completely strayed away from that. And I want like my Resident Evil series back. I want a horror series where I get like a total of 23 bullets and like a book that I, for some reason, have to use to open a door later. That's what I want. I want the old puzzles and the fright. I don't want to shoot
Oh my God,
zombies in the face.
Rob, my friend Kat, she did a playthrough of the Resident Evil HD remaster for her channel, and there was a guy that was watching her whole series of videos that he actually came up with an entirely like off the wall storyline for all the puzzles and shit that were going on in the game. That he created this character that he called Lord Spencer, who was the guy in charge of the mansion security that came up with all these stupid fucking puzzles.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, if you really think about it, it's like, who would live in a mansion where it's like, yeah, you need to take out this golden shield, replace it with a bronze shield, then you got to make sure you have 4 zombie masks in order to drop a casket down to get a key. Yeah, because no one does that. That's just part of the fright.
I would totally do that.
It was amazing, though. This whole story. I love
fake stories made up around shitty puzzles because they're usually hilarious.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do that, especially when the developers didn't really write a point or purpose to it.
No, it was in like, you think about the idea, because I feel a lot of us are really familiar with the remake of Resident Evil, but if you play like the original 1997 one, the director's cut, not the original shitty one, then like, I don't know. I remember when I was really young and watching my older siblings play that game was frightening as shit. And it was scary to me because they had to constantly trek around this mansion with like a weird key and a weird gold shield that they didn't know where to place.
I think it was more than that. I think a lot of what actually like really affected people in that original game was the pacing of stuff. Like they didn't just throw a bunch of shit in your face all the time. It was like you're walking around and you get to a particular room and you hear the little clatter of the claws of some dog walking around. No music to make it more scary. It's just you hear that clattering and you're like, is there a fucking dog coming to kill me right now?
Or just think like in Resident Evil 2, when you first get into the police station with fucking Leon, within 3 doors you open, you're used to, like, if you played Resident Evil 1, you're used to it. There's the cutscene where the door opens, you go through, the next room is loaded. Well, in Resident Evil 2 is the first time where the developers were just like, and you open that one door in the power generator room in the basement, and you're expecting like a load screen door. All of a sudden the door opens and there's just zombies walking at you. And I remember being 9 years old and literally like screaming and just running upstairs, and my brother just being like, haha, you pathetic turd, even though he was just as scared as I was, god damn it.
Okay, well, honestly, Rob,
two doors in from the start of the police station, you encounter a licker. You might think it's a regular old enemy, but when it one-shots you, if you haven't saved at that point at all.
And they make creepy noises.
Okay, but I gotta say, Rob, I grew up watching horror, playing horror games. Like, that was my shit my entire life. So I find your story kind of hilarious because none of that shit scared me.
I just want to see.
I was a kid, and I also, Eli, watched tons and tons and tons of horror, and always have. And I don't know, like when the game came out for you, because you're a little older than me. You were older, but I was
Rob. There have only ever been 2 horror entertainment things in my entire life that ever actually scared me.
Well,
2.
I'm very proud of you,
I was watching horror movies when I was 5.
Well,
Oh, I know.
hopefully we can find something more scary because God almighty, some of these games on this list. And we're going to move on to the next one. I think it's pretty fair to say that this is Real Estate Sim 2016. Next. So,
Just about. It's where you find out that your real estate agent didn't tell you about the stupid shit that they were
The
leaving.
hidden feature or the
yeah.
ghost.
Well, that just adds value to the house, doesn't it? So the next one is called Super Dungeon Brothers because that doesn't sound like it's trying to copy.
Okay, but it does actually look kind of cool.
It does. It's essentially a 3D version of Castle Crashers, which
They look a little like Legos.
yeah, I love Castle Crashers.
I like how they do the animated faces on it that look like Lego faces
it's cool.
a little bit, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look as low rent.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
It's definitely high quality from the looks of it, anyway. And it looks like you've got every single box ticked on Steam. You've got multiplayer, single player, online multiplayer, local multiplayer, co-op, online co-op, local co-op, shared split screen, cross-platform multiplayer, Steam achievements, full. Did they just check every box? Is all
Yeah.
this
They nailed
actually in the
every.
game?
I gotta give them credit for that. They really went for the whole fucking deal.
Yeah.
Wait, it says who's Wired Productions? That's not
I don't know, but
anything to do with the magazine, right?
I really
No, it is not
No.
Wired.
but it is being made by THQ Nordic since THQ's name was rescued from, falling to the sands of time.
I like the little intro they do for Lars on the trailer, where he's like strutting along and then just fuck you, get him away.
They are running a beta right now.
You said, is this like maybe a bit of a rip on like Gauntlet Legend or Gauntlet?
I mean, you could say that for a lot of twin.
Yeah, any like dungeon crawler you could say that for. This is,
Just
I think, whoever
specifically
made
'cause
the
this
note
one
of it.
focuses on 4-player, and that Gauntlet Legend was a 4-player game. And
God, Gauntlet
Yeah,
Legends
there
is
have been
so
a lot of games like that, though. So, I mean, I don't think that they would have been specifically trying to copy Gauntlet at this point. If it was 10
No,
years
this
ago,
seems
maybe-
more. This seems more of like a Castle Crashers / like.
Diablo is probably what you're looking toward.
Well, no, because Diablo's more.
Isometric dungeon crawler.
I'm
I-
thinking
but
more.
not-
So this is like kind of
RPG.
more of a mix to me between like Castle Crashers and like a beat 'em up, similar to like River City Ransom or something like that. That's what it looks like more to me, and how the characters interact with each other and everything.
Honestly,
along
Castle
with- oh, and
Crashers
also-
was a lot closer to a beat 'em up than this.
What is
Castle Crashers was a lot closer to a beat 'em up than this.
Castle
Because
Crashers?
Castle Crashers used the same sort of side-scroller thing where the enemies would come in on the sides, and then you're like laning yourself into the level of the screen to be able to hit them and stuff. This is switched up to the isometric view, so it feels like a combination between the Castle Crashers thing and the Gauntlet kind of thing. Although personally, I was more into Hunter the Reckoning, so to me it feels like a
Oh,
cross with that, but it's still the same kind of thing because Hunter the Reckoning was heavily based on the Gauntlet style.
Yeah, this looks fun. And just I don't know. I need to try it. I really like games like this, but there are just so many. So
I mean, I do appreciate that they
And-
went
and-
full out on the different multiplayer options. You
And
know, like,
Torch,
And
Torch,
all of the platforms. Sorry.
Torch in chat. By the way, it does say local on the page. You can play with local friends.
Yep, it is
Yeah, local
all
friends
the
instead of
co-op.
your
It
board.
is all the co-op. Literally
couch co-op
everything
is
they can do.
incredibly fun.
Yes.
But yes, multiplayer in general, typically pretty great.
I think this is the only game we've seen in a number of weeks that has actually had online and local and
Yeah.
pretty much all the types of co-op.
Seriously.
It usually seems like if a game has local co-op, it doesn't have online co-op, or if it has online co-op, it doesn't have local. It's just jam all the co-op in there. This game just kind of screams, "Hey, if you've got friends, bring them into this thing." So
Yeah, I also just love like dungeon crawler and isometric S games like this that you just like battle armies at a time. I love that. There's this PS2 game that I play frequently still that I love, made by Sega, called Shining Tears, where it's literally you and one teammate, which, you know, you can have, you know, another person playing, where you just play two little guys and you just fight thousands of people at a time. And it is so fun. And like, the more I watch this trailer, the more I'm getting that feeling, and it's getting me very excited on the inside. It's getting me excited on my inside happy place.
Did you ever try 99 Nights?
Yeah, 99 Nights is awesome. I like that too.
Were you going somewhere with this?
No, just wondering if that was what he was.
General question.
Like
Fair
that
enough,
type
fair
of thing.
But,
and the other thing too is like I do like the Lego-esque character style, because I really feel like two styles are overused too often these days. Minecraft style characters and stupid chibi style characters.
And you know what? They really did a good job of taking the Lego style feel here and making it feel a little higher quality.
Yeah, and it's not so blocky. It's more free movement looking, but still has like the same shape. Totally. Yeah,
It's okay to be stylized. It's just I wish
the
people
more this trailer rolls, the more it's like growing on.
Well,
There was again.
Not fighter.
yeah. Any other thoughts on this game? Because obviously it looks great, and I do agree.
Pass
The
that
lore-
right through the camera, please, Caitlin.
Huh?
I said, pass that right through the camera, please. I'll have some.
Here's yours.
Oh, I would love some of that.
Yeah, because we don't feed
I
anybody
have
here at Torchfork Mob. No one gets fed. It's just all liquor,
I
basically.
would like some of
It's
the.
liquor and one single cup of water per day for the essential nutrients to live.
We
One-
don't even
one cup of
provide
water per
that. That's just our advice to everybody.
We
Oh, yeah,
always
to-
urge people to
And to
drink
everyone out
responsibly.
there, if you're ever hungover, please do drink some water. It's good for you, regardless of what some people may tell you.
Why do people tell you not to drink water?
I can't believe that one guy that seriously
It's-
tried to tell us that drinking water was the worst thing you could do
Yeah.
when you're drunk. It's like, no, water does not make it worse.
Yeah.
Water helps get rid of the headache that's going to make you want to kill yourself in the morning.
That
Trolls.
like the person was also trying to claim like, well, it gets you drunk more. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe like a little bit because it's just pushing stuff through your body a little bit faster.
No,
but
it doesn't
in
even
such a
do that.
minute amount. Like
It
I-
it doesn't even do that, because the thing about alcohol, it makes you drunk. One of the main things is that it replaces the fluid that's in your inner ear, and it's replacing it in a way that it actually changes the way the little hairs in your inner ear move. Water doesn't do that. Water has no effect on that whatsoever. It was ridiculous. It's like, no, water does not make you more drunk. You're fine.
Fair enough. Any final thoughts on this before we move on to the thing that's probably going to make me scream at the screen?
that rhymed.
Yeah, that's right. Because we have to have one per show, and oh boy. Any thoughts? No? Good? Okay.
Just
This looks awesome. I don't know what else to say. Just go to the Steam page. It's for every platform ever. I expect Atari 2600 and 5200 version by the end of the year, from the looks of it.
sweet.
So we're going to move on to the next one, which is, no, you're not seeing shit. When I saw this on the list, I was thinking, oh, wait, more Killing Floor?
Yeah,
Sequel
Killing
to
Floor is
Killing
awesome.
Floor?
Oh, wait.
No, this is a pathetic attempt at copying off of Killing Floor, calling it Killing Room. Now, start your drinking game. See how many things look exactly like Killing Floor. Please, go right ahead.
You know, I hate to say
It's
I
called
didn't
Killing
like
Room. We'll start there.
Yeah, definitely start drinking there. I don't think that's the right
Well,
phrase.
so is Killing Floor Killing Floor a roguelike?
Killing Floor is a first-person shooter.
First person wave survival.
Yeah, it's in the vein of like Quake and all that other stuff. Serious Sam, I guess, for the wave survival part. But basically, this is pretty damn pathetic. It's basically the same damn thing. There are some character models that look pretty much exactly the same. The logo looks kind of similar. It's basically just a straight rip, from what I can see.
But I'm just curious though, like, is Killing Floor a roguelike specifically? Because this is a roguelike.
It is not specifically roguelike, but this was very clearly trying to take the idea of Killing Floor and going, hey, we can add some stuff onto this and make it basically the same thing, and nobody's gonna notice. Like, nobody's gonna care.
I was thinking, this looks fucking awesome, and it looks pretty polished too.
Yeah, but that's the problem, is it's polished because it's kind of just taking existing assets and tweaking them slightly. It's like if you took a drawing of Mickey Mouse and you kind of fucked up his ear a little bit, you could theoretically say that you drew that Mickey Mouse. It's still essentially taking off of the original, however.
Hey, Steven, copyright. That's Mickey Mole.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse. That's right.
That's Mickey Mouse spelled M-A-U-S.
Mickey
True.
Mouse.
Yeah, it's the German mouse.
Mickey Mouse. Yeah,
Mickey Mouse.
Even though it is polished, I will give it that. It's still the Diet Shasta of Killing Floor.
It's also not very well optimized because like it recommends 16 gigs of RAM and a GTX 970. That's what it recommends.
And
I mean, I
And
guess it's cool if you've
it
got.
doesn't even have that much to show on your computer. Why does
Yeah.
it need that?
Yeah,
That's what I was
another
kinda
thing.
wondering. I mean,
Requirements
it's-
are too high for this simple of a game. Like, that's
Yeah, well, it's
bullshitty.
also I think it's like when they just use like a lot of super high resolution textures, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna look good. Like, and you can see if you look at the textures, they're like, they're detailed, but there's no, the scenes aren't like well, like, I don't know, stitched together really. They're imbalanced.
also, what's always a big hint to me is that if you look at the Steam page, again, I will never tell someone to look at the reviews and don't take them with anything, bigger than the tiniest grain of salt, but there's an awful lot of reviews that are 0.1 hours played and they're praising it like the second coming of Christ.
Yeah.
That's
Unfortunately, in that same vein, there are also a lot of 0.1 hours played where they're like, "This is the worst game ever. The title screen didn't say the exact theme I was hoping, and there
those
wasn't
are
a girl
those are the
protagonist."
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, there is boobs in the game. That's probably the only plus for those people. But even so,
You can find better for free games, I'm sure.
yeah, and this is just one of those things where it's okay. Killing Floor is still at like $20, I think, to buy new. Meanwhile, this is $6. Again, you're not really going for anything other than we're the cheap alternative to a well-known, well-liked game. And it's just, it smells, it just reeks of disgust, or at least to me. I'm all fine with someone making a game that's inspired by something else. Oceanhorn, inspired by Legend of Zelda. But when you are basically wholesale yanking assets and just tweaking them to make them look shitty, and then putting your thing on Steam, is just another example of how Steam needs to stop being such wimps and actually police some of the crap that gets released.
Yes.
And this isn't even Greenlight. This is just straight on Steam.
The other thing too is like you kind of mentioned it before. There's a thing with kind of being derivative or having inspiration from something, where as long as you kind of claim it and you let them know, like, I really like this game, so I'm trying to make my game like that. The admittance to that is actually, it's usually okay, and as long as you know they're like, no, I created, this is all my original idea. That's like the difference. But this one, it's like, it's just such clearly like a rip, and it's really annoying that it is that way, because they're kind of just taking like two functions. They're trying to take like the fun aspects of Killing Floor, which is like the wave killing, and then they're kind of, I don't know, and the only example is, and I don't play this too often, but like I know Saints Row has like a huge variety of weapons that you can use that are really funny and inventive. This one looks like they're trying to do that same thing. Like, kill a monster with a fly swatter. Here, have a bloody maxi pad. That'll do something.
Can I just say, I'm still trying to get somebody to fucking play Saints Row with me on stream.
I blame
This is
that
true.
on Steven.
Yeah, let's
I'll
blame
blame Steven too. What the fuck, man?
I blame me as well. I have to totally take that. But just to
What
let
the
you
fuck
know,
is that noise?
that's Caitlin, because she doesn't realize we're live yet. I do want to throw out there on the chat, the only other game that these fucking idiots have done is basically a straight rip of, I believe it's a game, it's one of those, the play field is a spiral and you have to get your character, your player character to the center. It's like a fucking mobile game. I'm gonna believe that they went from that to this? Come on.
Yeah.
I really, really doubt that. I severely doubt that. look, I'm not a developer. I've worked on some fan projects in the past, but even I can tell that the amount of work that went into this is in the negative. It has to be. This looks like just a bunch of asset rips, and I really do hope, I don't care who's listening, if anyone's listening, if the Killing Floor devs ever get wind of this, I hope that they slap them with the fastest legal action on record. Just my 2 cents. Any other thoughts? Eli, do you have any thoughts? You know about Killing Floor.
Honestly, as much as I would love to see that happen, I think the Killing Floor devs are going to have a hard time nailing this down as a legal ripoff of their product, because it changes things enough that they can't say they reused the characters or the maps.
I was gonna say too, isn't the first Killing Floor wasn't that a mod of Half-Life 2 or?
Probably. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it was, but even still, like.
It's ambiguous enough that there's not really a whole lot that the devs can do about it.
Yes.
Because they can't just be like, oh, Killing Room is similar to Killing Floor.
Technically,
and you're doing the same kind of thing.
You could kind of say that, and again, just like how I let off, the first thing I thought when I saw that was, oh, sequel to Killing Floor, right?
Nope.
That's a really, really similar title. I mean, we're in an age where Notch and Mojang had to change the name of one of their expansion packs because of Elder Scrolls. I don't know. It might be cause for some kind of action. I think it should be, at the very least. But I just felt like when I saw the snowman in the trailer, I'm pretty sure I saw that at Killing Floor's Christmas map pack. I'm almost certain I saw that.
Well, the thing is, though, a snowman is such a common concept that the Killing Floor devs would have to be able to show that it was straight copied from their snowman. They can't just say, oh, a snowman is our thing. They have to show that it was copied from their model, their work.
It just seems a little too close for my taste.
There's too many things in this game specifically, though, that are... to what Eli
there
is saying.
are a lot of things.
They're just slightly off where it makes them unique for the game, where to strengthen what Eli was saying, they would Killing Floor devs wouldn't be able to do anything.
And to
because
me,
then they would just say, like, no, I created a yellow snowman because I was dreaming it up one night and it's my original idea. And it would just be that simple.
And to me, that just shows that they knew what they were doing when they started it. That was the intention.
I agree.
Yeah. It's just like all the block builders that are available on the Google Play Store that look really, 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 really similar to Minecraft, but they're available for like 5 cents.
Everybody, go play Trove. It's
Is that still a thing? Oh, anyway. Chris, any thoughts on this thing? I mean, you said that it looked really polished, but...
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I didn't play Killing Floor, so I'm probably a little easily impressed.
But so, as somebody that's
Killing
never
Floor
played...
is so good, dude. Pick it up.
I've heard it's good. I've heard it's very good.
But as somebody that's never played, so let's just base it right off the trailer. What are your thoughts on the trailer? You said it was polished.
Yeah, I thought it looked cool. I mean, the sequence where the snowman, like, rips you out looks pretty cool. I don't know. Like, I also like the way, like, you can pick up an exploding barrel and throw it. Oh, I guess you have to throw it. I thought you were shooting it. Also, the sandworm's kind of a cool boss. I don't know. I just thought it was like seemed reasonably well made. I do like what I said about the textures. Is still feeling a little uneven, and the game like needing more resources than it probably should. Probably true. I mean, I would want to play it before I could totally say that, I guess. But I don't know. I would play it, but then again, after this conversation, I'd probably just say, I'll probably play Killing Floor instead.
Yeah, I don't.
It's got some cool enemies though, and also some hilarious ones.
I always want to tell people, like, you should totally try out a game before you judge it. But seriously,
I will say,
is great.
I will say, one of the pluses to this thing, probably one of the only positive elements to the idea, is that it includes extra features that Killing Floor doesn't. Which is probably why it got made in the first place, was these developers were probably sitting there going, hey, I would love to play Killing Floor and be able to do this other thing while I'm playing it, but I can't. So they made the game, And they included shit like Twitch integration, where
Yeah.
people can fucking vote on the shit that's going to be happening in the game while you're playing, which Killing Floor doesn't fucking do.
No,
Yeah.
and admittedly, that would be pretty fun in Killing Floor if you could be like, this entire wave is just gonna be Scrates. Stuff like that. That would be fun. And yeah, the Twitch integration is always it is a very cool thing. It's super cool thing.
Also, I don't really understand what they censored. And did they censor the killing of a tiny bird? That's what it looks like.
I think
Because
that was
they're
done
trying to be
for
funny.
humor's sake. Yeah.
Oh.
Just
All
like
right,
the
we're
old,
just okay. Yeah, I wouldn't want to kill a tiny bird.
Oh no, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
Remember, it's got to be humanoid at least.
Yeah.
But sometimes the copies do things that the original games didn't, or they add stuff that fans have been saying, "Hey, it'd be really great if you guys did this." Official
Well,
game says,
Does
"Nah,
Killing Floor have any RPG mechanics?
not to my knowledge."
See, this game says it has roguelike elements and RPG mechanics, although it does say that they're all optional. I don't know, it does say the funny thing, the revolutionary features are optional, which is always a funny thing to me. 'Cause-
Revolution, totally not necessary.
That's right, it's an optional revolution. Or it's maybe it's a revolution of your choosing. You could look at it that way. But I think that what was just said a moment ago, that this is kind of like someone like really just wanted to have more features in Killing Floor, and so they were just like, fuck it, I'm gonna build my own. And that's exactly what they did do.
Yeah, and Devil's Advocate, it might even be better than the original Killing Floor, but just on the surface, it just feels and screams shameless ripoff. Now, some of the comments on the Steam page, again, take with a grain of salt, but some of them are saying that the roguelike isn't really roguelike. But then again, I've been playing the living crap out of Binding of Isaac. Yeah, sometimes some rooms look really, really similar. Are they exactly the same? They might happen. It could happen. It all depends on what they're pulling from. So who knows? I think it's one of those things where you got to experience it. It's $6. Maybe give it a shot. Maybe not. Make your own decision from there. What do we know? We're just
$6.
we're just
Wow.
drinking and bitching. Yeah, that's all
Not
it is.
bad.
Right? It is.
Although I kind of find the maxi pad to be offensive. Like, because I don't mind, like, yeah, let's put the period stuff out there, but like doing it as a weapon, like what? They're just gonna turn around and be like, ew.
Do you honestly question why she thinks that's offensive? Like, I mean,
Of all the
seriously.
things that we have seen on this show, that's the offensive thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but why should Caitlyn not take that as offensive? It's a very clearly a gender thing on that. Why shouldn't
Yeah.
she take that as offensive?
There have been a lot of things that we've seen that have been
It's offensive because the female condition that may or may not happen monthly is overly disgustified. Yeah, I just made up that word.
I
And
like
it's not normalized enough. Like people are just weird about it. And when you make a bloody maxi pad a weapon, it makes people weirder. They only get weirder.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure there have been other. I'm sure there have been other games though. I am kind of impressed that they render
There
it so
are other
clean.
games that make a deal out of it, but they're all kind of fucking sexist.
Yeah, there are.
Like, I'm a girl. I like shooters. Do I like slapping people with a maxi pad? Only if they're sexist.
And yet at the same time, we live in a world where art installations will have a display or a gallery of art made of maxi pads, used ones, mind you.
Okay, but
That's-
the
see,
idea
that's
behind that
that's
is to rub it
celebrating
in
that.
your face.
I
Yeah.
hope not.
Why do you have a problem with
This is not celebrating a maxi pad. This is a brutal, deadly weapon. It is not. It's a sanitary napkin.
You
Either
can
way,
turn anything into a brutal,
pretty
deadly
big
weapon. if you really
difference.
please.
Yeah, realistically, yeah.
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 Maybe if it was maybe if it was a Samsung Note 7, it would make more sense.
I mean, if you get to slap the person with it and then mop up the area, to keep it clean and maybe not get the zombie virus, that's pretty cool. But
It was a good power. It was a good power up in Binding of Isaac, though. The maxi pad was very useful. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Isaac just
wait.
John
That's a good
forehead
point.
and on his merry way. So
Yeah, I rarely find things offensive, but yeah, we got one.
awesome.
Pointy.
I'm glad that we could get at least one thing today that could be offensive.
I think what makes it more offensive is that this game is so derivative that adding something like that, like the bloody maxi pad in there, is like,
Yeah.
okay, so you're already
Gratuitous.
like it's cheating. You're already stealing an idea, And then you just want to throw on this extra little layer of mayonnaise that is the bloody maxi pad to disgust players and everything else.
On
It's
the
just
plus
so
side.
stupid.
Dude, they're being edgy and cool. Come on.
I am
No,
glad.
I agree with Caitlin though. Like that doesn't make you edgy or anything else.
No,
like
I
being
also agree.
even if they put that in there intending to not be sexist and have it just be a gross joke, it's really not. And people
So,
do actually just
wait a
find that
second,
offensive
wait a
because
second.
it's stupid.
But wait a second, we're in a situation. Torch in the chat might be trolling, but that's awesome. I do have to agree. Of all the things in the trailer we're seeing people get shot, destroyed, eviscerated. The maxi pad is the offending thing. I mean, I'm
Yes.
glad that Polygon has
Okay.
something to write about now.
You know why? You know why the maxi pad in particular is offensive to people? It's because you're going, oh, look, this is the stuff that comes from a woman's crotch and that time of the month. Oh my God, you wouldn't want to be touched with that.
Hopefully you say it just like that also.
Yeah. Like
I
that
don't want you to
exact
stop that
thing.
voice. Can you do the voice for the rest of the show?
Yeah, rest we
Seriously,
want grumpy dwarf.
It's fucking stupid because it's like, look, this thing is gross and it has to do with a woman and it's something that you wouldn't want to be touching you on that time of the month.
Yeah,
It's
so
ridiculous. It's
so let
fucking
me-
stupid. When
I
you're
do
killing
want-
somebody, it's violent. It's fucking horrible to be killing people. But you're sitting there and you're taking something that people cannot help. Something that happens no matter what they want or think or feel at a specific interval all the fucking time and going, isn't this fucking horrible and disgusting?
But again, that just brings us back to a lot of the games that end up on Steam and a lot of the games that end up for sale are made by people that are the
They're
constituency.
Hey,
yeah,
guys,
it's
hey,
the
guys,
constituency.
What's under the
of
blanket?
Steam. Yeah, exactly.
What's under
And
the blanket?
They're
Remember that
trolling,
game?
and in this case, it just happens to be sitting there and going, "Look, we're going to take something that half the population has that happens to them all the fucking time.
but again, that's
it
the thing.
disgusts you, and we're
I
going to
love
rub
it
it in your
because it
face." and
See,
just
I
to-
do
just to get
wonder this
reaction out
though
of
for the game
Mhm.
that if they have like a dirty maxi pad in there, do they have something to like maybe equate it out? Do they have a disgusting rotten jockstrap? Do they have anything? Anything
Yeah, what
that
can I
help at all?
kill monsters with a used condom?
Probably,
No, that's
probably.
no,
but
Caitlin,
again,
but I'm seriously
If there
wondering
was
that. Do
stuff
they
like
have
that,
other?
then it would be totally different.
Yeah,
Okay,
see,
the
that's
thing
and that's
is
that's the point I'm trying to
about
bring
this
up. Is
game-
is it just one singular item that they have in this
think that-
game,
I
or
think it's
is it
being
like a multitude of grotesque?
I
items?
really think it's being overanalyzed. What we're looking at is a polished version of any of the shitty Steam Greenlight
Oh
trolling
my god, you're a good
copy.
point. I almost
assets.
gave this game
Really.
compliments. Let's move
Seriously. Yeah, exactly. I do want to move on, but
Let's move on.
I think the final thought is this is just a polished version. Now that Unity is available to all, we are now going to see more polished versions of the Steam Greenlight trolling game. I'm almost certain that this is where it's going to start. So, yes, there's an offensive item in a game. God knows it's not the first. It's certainly not going to be the last. But I dislike this game on many levels. So it's not just the pad that bothers me. It's the kind of the existence of it. But a used condom full of poop is probably the best phrase that's going to be written in chat tonight.
And you know
So-
what? Honestly, if they were to do something like that, where they were just taking random shit, it wouldn't. Like the maxi pad thing wouldn't even remotely be offensive. But when
No,
they
it wouldn't.
single out something like that,
But it's
then
it's
it's
the
like,
fact that
yeah,
the
you've
game
got some
is-
priority
The
issues.
only other game to date is a mobile copy. It's really hard for me to see that and think they wanted to be original on this one. So
Yeah.
this
It's,
is
it's not
just-
about
this
being
is
original or not. They picked out something very specific, and
because
if
it would get people talking. So they actually succeeded in their
they
marketing.
succeeded, but is anybody actually going to buy their shit?
Some will,
Well,
but
it's only $6, so I would say it's quite likely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some
A
will.
few people, but it's not going to be that fucking popular because it's
Yeah.
not that big.
we say that now. But watch, this will be
No,
highlight
no,
of the
it's
next
not that big of a deal.
sports
Not that
game.
many people are going to buy it. We're going to move on to the next thing.
fermented juices of used condom in a bag of poop. Can we just keep this going like
Yeah,
the television?
let's keep coming up with more shit like this.
All right, so we're gonna move on. Wait, nobody had a problem with the wheelchair power up? Come on.
I didn't notice.
yeah,
Shit, I'm offended. No.
There you go. Again, I'm glad that Polygon will have something to talk about now. I'm sure they'll write a very long dissertation on it. The next game is called Versus, and it's a customizable sandbox top-down shoot-'em-up game. Could we fit any more options in there? Could be entertaining to play with a bunch of friends. We don't have any, so we're going to take your word for it. So this is Versus.
So we've got another like litany of single player, multiplayer, co-op, online co-op, local co-op, shared, split screen, cross-platform multiplayer, Steam achievement, also full control support and all the other shit too. They have everything.
Yes.
And but they self-published this time.
But the real question is it all there, or did they just check every box? I assume that it's there.
I assume checked every box.
Well, there's
because I don't have that much faith in random developers.
What else have they done?
Diorama Arena Sandbox.
They have done nothing. Well, they've done Nation Red, which has a demo, so you can check that out and kind of guess what their quality is.
What the fuck? Okay, in the trailer, the dude built a wall of shit that was like as tall as a person, and then he planted a turret behind the wall and went to use a turret, and it's like, why are you using a turret where there's shit to block your shots?
That should
and
so
then
wait,
the
I don't
first
understand
trailer
that, like,
cut to the next shot because that was stupid.
So is this like one of those things where it's just like you build a base, like a defensive base, and then they just send like an unlimited amount of enemies that steadily get stronger and stronger at you?
Probably.
I mean, this basically is like every fucking StarCraft map ever.
What's up
that's
with
what
the
this
fat
is.
dude with the copter on his back?
I don't know.
No, but seriously, this is just like this like reminds me of like Zergling Defense. This is Zergling Defense, except like made into a more complex game.
Why does it say sandbox diorama?
I don't know. I'm kind of confused by this.
Isn't a diorama just not do anything?
Well, yeah.
Diorama is like a shoebox demonstration of something.
So
what?
maybe we're fighting in a shoebox. Oh, I always wanted the Army Men series to come back. Maybe that's what
Me too. Sarge's Heroes 2. I want
Army
it
Men
again.
was a lot more open than this.
It runs on
Yes.
a system that is like literally the system I had in college. That was
Well,
like
that's-
6 to 8 years ago.
How long ago? 6 to 8 years?
32
2
years.
millennia. No.
68 years. That's what
6
I
to
127 years.
Years ago, when I was
111.
buying my first condom from the corner store, they just
had it in a bag of
those
poop.
things back then. Seriously, I had no idea how great they were for us back at that point.
One of them even had Obama's face on it.
What's that
Seriously,
line from
Obama's
Half Baked?
face on the first condom ever.
That line from Half Baked where Willie Nelson's like, man, I remember when a bag of grass used to cost 10 cents. You want to know how much condoms cost? No, how much they cost? I don't know. We didn't use them. Like, it's freaking hilarious.
Oh, the good old days. Weed was cheap and sex was.
What do you mean the good old days? I watched Half Baked yesterday.
That's such a
Good
movie.
old
It's
days.
an awesome movie.
But
Oh,
that
God.
being said, there's a point for this whole thing.
No,
So-
it's not.
It's
Well,
Well,
drinking.
what are we looking for? Well,
This game looks bad. And like, it just.
It's
It works on an Xbox.
it's Left 4 Dead with one of the dimensions cut out, and it was a lot slower.
that's
This
a
is-
fair.
This is a game about a bunch of construction work friends that like survived the zombie apocalypse and were like, well, we might as well keep up our trade.
That sounds
All
an
right, oh,
opposite.
I'd like to build some battlefield dioramas. Let's get to work, everybody.
Hey,
Grab two boxes and throw
Ugh.
some zombies
Oh,
in.
They've
look, some
got to do
barrels
what they
and some
used to do.
rebar and some barbed wire. Basically, it looks like a battlefield.
I do like the
Xbox Live arcade game selling for $5.
Honestly,
How do you-
that was my first thought when I
I
saw
How
do
do you get
like-
this one tag too. Like this drive, this is like it looks like they went to a lot of trouble to make their Steam page look good, and they tagged it with only the tag action. It's it, not co-op, not RTS, not diorama.
I
Everyone knows.
will admit that I do think like the cell shading and the character models look really good in this game. I do like the work in it and the
are better
graphics.
than I thought they'd be given the specs.
But yeah, I don't know.
You
There's this
just got
game
done
that me
making fun of the building.
There's this
Anyway.
really fun game that Jody and I play called Dead Nation on PlayStation. where it's
Yeah.
like it's a really easy top-down shooter, and it's the type of shooter where one joystick moves the controller, the other joystick constantly shoots. And it's just this really fun zombie survival game. It's not complicated. It's very simple, but it's really fun and challenging. And I really like games like that too. And I like games like this too, where they add like extra elements to it.
I
But-
got to tell you, Rob, from the way you're describing that, it sounds like a game that I was playing on Armor Games almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, I mean, I used to play. What was that old Flash game, like Boxhead or? I can't remember. Either way, there was tons of games like that too. I was just using it as an example because I really like Dead Nation and think it's a very fun game. But like, there's a certain way to do these games correctly, and there's also ways to add the extra attributes, as in like base building and everything else. But I can't even like articulate correctly on how I don't see it in this game. It just doesn't appear to be there the same way, and it looks like every single map size is really small. So like saying that it's a sandbox is kind of like. All the areas look tiny, and I don't know.
But there's sand. There's obviously sand. We're in a diorama, which is a box, therefore a sandbox. Yeah, I know it was a bit of a reach, but yeah.
He's right. Torch is
as-
right. This game has so many tones of
Yes.
beige.
Yes.
It's like we're drinking Baileys while watching this thing.
No, we're
Okay,
actually looking
Bailey's is better than this.
Cream and
Bailey's will
beige.
get you drunk.
I feel like you need to be drunk to see all this much beige. I haven't seen this much beige since the last Call of Duty. Hint, hint. But yeah, yay, shooting stuff. And it looks exactly the same as their previous game. Yay. I'm glad they're sticking to something.
And Kellogg, yes, all the Pentium 4s, because as Weird Al said, it's all about the Pentiums.
All about Pentiums.
I don't know why Chris isn't just freestyling. He's already dressing like Eminem from 8 Mile.
Seriously.
Just ate some mom spaghetti earlier too.
Oh,
Awesome.
Man, I was about to quote that.
You were so close and yet so far. We're going to move on to the next one because the beige is hurting my eyes. So we're going to look at dirt. That's right, dirt.
Dirt.
I said it. We're going to look
Is
at...
it better than sand, which we just watched?
Is it dirt or is it Moto dirt?
There might be some sand. It's mostly dirt, so all the Southerners are going to love this game. It is Moto Racer 4. It's motocross. It looks really friggin' good, though. It looks really, really good.
Ooh, it does look nice.
Whoa, this is now. Oh yeah, this is actually way cooler than some of the past ones. The past ones were like a little real. Or, like, is this game that used to be like a sim almost in its earlier versions? Or am I thinking of a different one?
You are probably thinking of a different one.
Because
Because
there's also Moto
Yeah,
GP. Is the
I
other.
think you were thinking of a very different game.
Yeah. Okay. So this is definitely supposed to be arcade. This looks fucking awesome.
Are these upcoming or already out, guys?
this is...
Mostly
Comes out on
upcoming.
November 3rd.
This is upcoming. This is available November 3rd. Yeah. Although,
Yeah, this is cool.
this is going to sound terrible, because I keep doing this. Looking at the developers' previous games, they did Agatha Christie, the ABC Murders, and
Hey,
Oh,
we talked
God.
about this on a
And-
Tuesday.
Garfield Kart.
Yeah.
We talked about
What?
the ABC Murders on a Tuesday.
Yeah, we did
That
talk
was a
about
long time ago. They did fucking Garfield?
Garfield Kart, sir. Garfield.
What
Went
the
from
f-
that to this.
I feel like this link, and the thing is, Garfield Kart's not even out. It's going to be released. Wait, I'm sorry, I take that back. Garfield Kart was released on November 7th, 2013, from developer Artifacts Studios.
How did you have that mixed up as whether it was already released or not?
Because I was looking at the Moto Racer 4 page at the same
Okay,
time.
but that's 3 years difference.
I know, but it ironically also released on November 20. Yeah, so.
So I'm
How
glad
did they
to see they're
compose
releasing a new version of Connecticut.
To something
Yeah.
that looks this polished. How?
Well,
It
obviously,
does not
in
look
3
that
years.
polished, honestly.
Yeah, from 3 years difference, they probably hired and fired some people.
This
My
looks
bad.
really pretty to me, and it looks fun.
And I'm looking at the publisher's information. It's Microids, and they have a pretty rating for all the games that they've put out. So
Yeah, it like
I mean, take it for what it's worth. Even a crappy dev can have a good game. But yeah. When you finally
Okay,
get
but you're saying that like this is a good game, and honestly, I don't know.
compared to the phenomenal quality of Garfield Kart, I at least see some quality
What
here.
bar
Although-
are you trying to set here?
Well, I'm trying to
don't-
set a bar that's slightly higher than underneath the floorboards.
This game.
Okay,
this game
but you're
looks like it should have
assuming
been
that
released.
Garfield was above the floorboards.
No,
This
Garfield's
game-
actually laying on the floorboards. He's a
This
cat.
game should have been
He's-
released like 8 years ago.
Yeah, this feels
This
like
game
something that you would have seen on the PS2 or PS1 even. But it's better looking than most of the other things
No,
that
I was gonna say
Yes,
I'll give it the
sequels
credit.
are
I'll give
better
it the credit of like Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 era, but it's just like I don't know. There are so many good
It seems
like
extremely simplistic, and the camera not tracking anything that's actually
it's
going on. with the
annoying.
character, to me, suggests that it's way more arcadey than people would
Yes.
think at first glance. Like, it seems like it's going to be kind of an on-rails racer, honestly, which is stupid.
I mean, how foolish do you have to be to have a racer that's on? Has there ever been an on rails racer?
Yes, there have. They
Can you
don't
throw out
call
some
it that.
That's called like a train sim.
The thing is, there have been racing games where it's like it's supposed to be a racing game, but honestly, like all you're really doing is kind of adjusting your character as it's going through the race on its own. You're not actually the one controlling the racer,
Yeah, it's
really.
like the shitty go-karts they had at Disney World. It's like you're in a car and it's moving forward, but you don't have any control.
Oh yeah, and they have the connector in the center. I've never been
Yeah,
to
and
Disney
it's
World,
the-
but I've
they
been on
actually got
shitty
rid of that
go-karts
recently.
that ran on the track where it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I might as well just
You
got
can
in the
go a
car
little
and did
left.
the same thing.
And a little right, but you can't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't look like you have realistic control over your racer, and to me that just seems stupid, because if you can't control your racer, then you're not really racing.
Garfield's Kart apparently has good reviews, according
Yeah,
to
that's what Torch
Torch.
said.
It does. I just posted the link to it if anybody would like to purchase that phenomenal game for $5.
And for anyone wondering, it was released 13 years ago, according to Steven.
No, it was released 2013, which was only 6. I have not had that much liquor to screw up my math that badly.
6?
Oh
Huh?
man.
This
The
is
point-
just like great fun.
So I just want to say though that like this game, it doesn't look terrible, but it does look arcadish, and
Yeah,
for
and
like
that's-
a racing game, and also the
It's only $30 though.
Only
$30.
and still
Oh,
it's like
for
20.
Well, I mean,
like
it's just
I'm
I'm
not
saying it's
buying
not a
this. I
$60
love-
title.
I love racing games. I am not paying $30 for an arcade racing game.
No, I wouldn't either.
30
Yeah,
seems
that's
like
fair.
what it would be if they had to like pump it up by putting a motocross name to it, like a lot of the motocross games have had. But even then,
The
I've seen
graphics are
shiny.
stunning.
Shiny does not necessarily mean good, though. One person's good is another person's eh. And there are a lot of better racing games out there.
See,
but Chris is right. It
I
does.
wish
look
it had a VR support. That would do it for me. That
Okay,
would
that
be
would
more
make you
stunning.
sick. This kind of game in VR would just make you want to vomit.
And I support this
I've played
wholeheartedly.
F-Zero in VR, man. I can take almost anything.
Yeah,
No,
I don't know. I don't
you
get
don't
like motion
understand,
sickness
Kellogg.
and like that. I still want to try VR really
Trust
badly.
me, I've gotten motion sick. I know how I have. Let's just say I have medicines to deal with sickness.
No.
Dramamine
Stop
cannot save you from
doing
everything.
crack, Chris.
This
All right,
is-
we've already
this
told you
is-
it's not okay to smoke crack.
Not on
Look,
stream.
I
do
like
it
to
on-
smoke crack and drive in VR, okay? Because I can't do it in real life, so I do it in VR.
So you
So
guys
I
do it
hope-
in virtual reality.
This is gonna make you
Virtual.
vomit if you try this in VR, Chris.
Which is
It's
all
not
the more
worth it.
reason we need to have him do this.
I can't wait to start doing VR for streams because I want to play Redout, and that is a game
Tomorrow.
that really wants to.
Chris, I'm just
I
gonna
have to
say,
just-
I imagine you playing this surrounded by a Stonehenge of buckets.
That would be great. Wait,
Stonehenge
why
of
would it be a
buckets?
Stonehenge?
That would be very
Buckets,
large
in the
buckets.
pukin.
I live in a giant bucket.
It's the chum bucket.
I live in a.
No,
That's right.
I
Hopefully
am the
Venus wins
Queen of France.
This is how the show usually devolves. So, Torch, welcome. I don't think we've ever seen you before, and we'll probably never see you again. So welcome. But yeah, I look at this and I just want to play PlayStation and Xbox because that's all it feels like to me.
I just want to play Albert Odyssey on Sega Saturn that I now own.
Of course you do, but that's because you got a game for way cheaper than it should have been.
Yeah, and yeah, it has dubstep. There's a reason they didn't have it in 2005 because it's shit.
Yep.
Steven,
Yes.
Saints Row.
When?
that was what the question was going to equate out to.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Let's get past this. Otherwise known as 2005 game sport game.
True.
And move on.
And we have theoretically only 17 minutes left, although.
That's true.
That means
And Torch, the reason I say that is because as the shows progress, they will devolve further and further to the point where unless you're a masochist, you probably won't keep watching, but we hope you do.
Yes.
Because if you think we've made asses of ourselves now, you ain't seen nothing yet. So we're going to move on to the next game. Oh, God, help me. I keep looking at the last one on the list. But the next one is called Through the Woods. And, of course...
Another walking simulator.
Yep.
Do we go over the river first? Because I would like
it
to
is
do
not.
both.
It is not a walking simulator. I actually have talked to the person that got to test this game for the developers, and the person said that admittedly, it was more thrilling than actual horror. Like it wasn't scary. It was more suspenseful. But the dude that he got to try it, he said it was very good. Like the music in the game, the atmosphere, the general, like the graphics were good. Said he had a good time. So that is
the recommended graphics card is a 980.
Sounds
I'm
about
just
right.
gonna say that because we were just saying
Wow.
the last about that other game that recommended a 970. This one they recommend 980.
Yeah, but look at this one, Chris. Look
For
at
how
it.
much-
eyeball.
It looks good.
For how much the face on this character looked
That's
like
true.
it was like somebody's skin stretched onto some like clay model or something. That's a little weird to me.
I want to see the face again.
The detail
I
of the
have yet to
environment
see
is very high. It does look really
No, I
great.
think the game looks really good. I
Yeah,
really
it
do.
looks
And
gorgeous.
I've been personally watching this game a little bit, but now that Eli said that, I want to see the fucking character's face.
And you know, it's funny that you mentioned all that because I'm reading the community back and forth, and of course, there's no price listed on the page, and so and this is a positive thing. The developer's actually interacting with people, which is nice to see.
Definitely.
They're discussing the price, and so it looks like it's going to release at $19.99.
That's great.
And there's going to be a discount on launch day. So, maybe like 10, maybe 5 to 10%, who knows, but $20? Yeah. All right. I'm on it. Yeah. It looks very, very nice. The face, yeah, it looks like
There
Honey
was the
Valley.
face. The face looked fucking weird.
well, maybe that's just supposed to look weird.
It seriously looked like they took somebody's face. They peeled the skin off of it and then stretched it across something.
Kind of
Botox
like old GoldenEye faces.
That's why you need the 980
Max
so
Payne.
that you can render
Max Payne.
everything else. They just ran out when it came to the face.
Max
Yeah,
Payne
pretty
like
much.
a firm like scowl.
No, like Eli and I were talking before. We're both obviously fans of the horror genre in general, and I don't know. I like when they do like atmospheric horror really well. And excuse me, I think this game looks very good, and this is another game where I'm gonna say this. Like, I want to play it, but I actually want to see it played by someone else first. I want to see how like other people interact with the game and everything else.
I think one of our people should be playing it blind.
Blind? What do you
Sure.
mean blind?
Sure.
Blind?
As in not having seen it played by anyone else.
Yeah.
We
I
should
was
maybe
thinking we
do
should
that
just
for
revise it or
reliving.
something.
Maybe we could do that for reliving the horror on a
I don't
Sunday
think
night.
Reliving the Horror is an appropriate title for a brand new game, but otherwise, yes, I agree with
Well,
you.
then you just
Oh, I
have
suppose
to
that's true.
be-
I guess I didn't really think about that when we named it. I thought that we would just play horror games. Because my original idea was living the horror.
Well, you can't
Every-
relive something that you've never lived before. You can't
Yeah,
go in that one
seriously.
direction.
That was why I had suggested using Reliving the Horror for that show, is because it's old shit that
Well,
people have seen before.
Wait a second. For this one, it shouldn't be part of Reliving the Horror. It should just be like have the same layout, but just have the X'd out and just say Living the Horror. It'd just be a one time.
That's the way to go.
No, you
that
should
is-
just call it Living La Vida Loca.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Because she's got dumps like a truck.
Caitlin, you're fired.
Guys, like what? And baby,
Eli,
with
she's
butt.
the only reason Abe
But-
watches
but.
the channel. Rehire
Don't
now.
care. She's fired.
Hey, Eli, her lips are devil red and her skin is...
I don't care. You are fired.
Vida loca.
Anyway.
Kellogg, you're fired too.
almost
Hey, you
as
can't
good
fire
as-
me. You're
I
fired.
can fire you if I want to. Damn
You
it.
can't fire me. I quit.
Okay, that works.
Damn it. I'm rehired.
By OPN.
Oh,
Ooh.
We
No.
stopped that right there.
that
So,
that
this
which must
game-
not be named.
I would rather wander around in the middle of a blizzard.
Well,
There you go.
About
Considering
20
it's
bucks.
close to Snow Thursday up there, you're likely to.
It's
Okay, so
Well,
this game
it's
also,
almost
I just
gonna-
want to mention,
Yeah.
is made by this company called 1C Company, and they just recently made this really incredible multiplayer game called, I think it's the same one, called Eon Alter. And
Oh, you mean the publisher? Yeah. Okay.
publisher, yeah. And that Eon Alter game is utterly fantastic.
Oh, they published Stalingrad too.
Oh,
Okay.
nice! I didn't even know that.
Huh.
But that Eon Alter game was so good, and I liked it so much that I have like a lot of faith in 1C Company now because they made such a terrific
Well,
game that I'm
wait a
excited to see
second.
what else they can do.
That's the thing. They're the publisher, not
Publisher,
the developer.
excuse
The
me.
developer's never done anything other than that. Okay, officially on Steam, they've not any other games listed, but it looks like the publisher is also behind the game Infinium Strike, which I believe we've talked about
Oh.
before.
Oh, yeah, that sounds really familiar.
It does.
Mm,
In the place that shall not be named, which was already named, so fuck it. There's a lot of war games. Holy shit, the war games. Lots of World War II, lots of World War One. Yeah, so 13th Century Gold Edition, Reign, Conflict of Nations, King's Bounty series. If anybody knows anything about that, I can't say I do.
Oh
but-
crap! I just realized it wasn't Eon Alter. They made this other game that I recently reviewed called Space Rangers Quest. Completely
Great, so
different.
So
and
all
entirely
the
different.
all the good wishes that you just gave them are
just
no
was
longer
eliminated entirely. No, I'm kidding.
Awesome.
It's still the same publisher, but the game I was thinking of was Space Rangers Quest, which was actually developed by SNK.
Fair enough. All right, so this looks good to me. Like I said, it looks like the dev has officially said it's going to be $20 with a bit of a discount when it releases. So I'm kind of all for it. I think it looks kind of awesome. The face,
I think it looks
Yeah.
good. The face is a little setback,
Yeah.
but not enough to make me not want to play the game.
that's okay. It looks like your face will probably get ripped off while you're playing the game. So it'll
I mean, in
Wow.
fairness, my face right now looks like it was skinned just stretched over a skull, and it grew hair one day. It's weird. It's weird.
Fair enough,
I
but,
don't know.
now is the time. Now is the place. Let's just get this shit over with. Another year, another Call of Duty.
I thought you were going to start
Another-
going into light as a feather, light as a board with that.
I was thinking about it, but I thought, no, I really don't pull off Fairuza Balk too well, even if it is Halloween.
I was more of a fan of Nev Campbell than Fairuza Balk.
Yeah. To be
Yeah.
fair, the crazy ones, no matter what they say, the crazy is totally fine. As
Okay,
long as
Fairuza
you
Balk was the more crazy one. I like Nev Campbell, like the more wholesome one out of the set of crazies.
there you go. There you
For
go.
what? Say that again. I didn't.
For
I didn't.
the craft.
But
It's-
if you don't get what's going on, then you just need to learn to keep up. We're moving on.
Yeah, we're moving on. So, I like fish. I
Damn,
like
land
cod,
on the
I like
line.
halibut. I do not, under any fucking circumstances at all, like Call of Duty. Call of Duty, the last time.
Like,
it
not
was-
even the original two, which were like amazing games.
I did.
I like the originals. They're fun, and
The
admittedly, I play Black Ops.
the World War II Call of Duties, the first two were fucking awesome. The single player.
I will admit, yes, but when I think it was. Yeah, no, I've always hated Call of Duty. Sorry, I was
question.
more of a
I
guy.
have a question for you.
Yeah. No.
What makes a series with many titles that are almost exactly the same
They are Legion.
good, and what makes it bad? Because
Can I
Pokemon
explain?
does the same thing every. Wait, no, let me finish. Pokemon.
Hey, listen.
Sticks to formula.
Hey,
as like
listen.
other games. Okay, go. Go.
Oh,
Fine. I'm having.
No, I hear. No. You make a good point
not
though.
you. Yeah.
So a lot of people, not everybody knows. A lot of people do know.
Hey,
Don't know. You listen. Call of Duty.
You're
After I
a whore.
believe Modern Warfare. So Modern Warfare was when it switched to the more modern, like it used to be a World War II series. Then it became a modern series after Modern Warfare. And then after the success of Modern Warfare, a second company started also developing Call of Duty games. So it went from being one developer to two developers, which were making
Kellogg.
basically simultaneous series. Yes,
Kellogg. Infinity Ward was the original developer of
Right.
Call of Duty.
that's right. Infinity Ward.
So if this
they
is
are the good ones.
Infinity Ward, then this is the original developer deciding they want to do space combat.
Which let's see if we have it. It is Infinity Ward, which is a good,
Yes.
which is a good sign.
I didn't want to stop him. I'm sorry. He was on a roll, except for that one little thing. But go on.
So I was
what-
gonna say I
this
forget the
guy-
name of the other one, the other company, but they are the one that make like Black Ops, which are in that series, and the ones that are a little more
Treyarch.
like I don't know
Treyarch.
how to describe them. They're just like
Tryon World, yeah.
yeah, they're just not as good. So I have a lot of faith that this could actually be awesome because Infinity Ward's really good at what they did.
It could be, but to me, it doesn't look as good as the idea behind Star Citizen. Although Star Citizen honestly has me really fucking worried with the way they're behaving.
I
now.
mean, I don't know. Infinity Ward's been doing this for a long time.
I would say also, I think those are actually, they're kind of two different games. Like
They
Star
are-
Citizen
they
is going
are.
to be so much more expansive than any Call of Duty could ever
they
be.
are, but I'm speaking more about the content that you're getting and the
Yeah.
quality of it.
like
And
we're getting a single player
overall,
trailer.
the stuff that Star Citizen is pushing looks amazing compared to this. But the way they're behaving has me sitting there going, I don't know. At least with this one, they're fucking releasing some shit.
But to go back to Caitlin's original question, which got cut off by the Unabomber up there. Caitlin, it really depends. Yes, everything Nintendo makes is literally the same shit recycled
It's
over and
very
over.
formulaic. So what makes those games, which are formulaic, good? Well, we complain about other titles that are like that. We've complained about Assassin's Creed. We've complained about too many Call of Duties. What makes something good if it's repetitive?
I think I can answer that using Pokemon as the example. Pokemon
Fire away.
has a fresh story every time. A lot of the new games have new generations of Pokemon. And on top of that, Pokemon over the years has added small yet very significant things to their gameplay that really add into the end game. For example, Pokemon breeding. They didn't have those in the originals. That's huge right now. Huge in the gameplay. Yeah, and you do it yourself, Caitlin. That's
Right
like
now,
one example of
actually.
them.
Yeah, she's been doing it the whole
That's-
time.
That's one example of them taking like a good idea, then they were like, how can we add to this to a little bit more to keep our fan base in? I believe with Call of Duty, the reason that so many people continue playing these games and buy them is because they play the last version for a certain amount of time. They play it for, we'll just say, a year. They get to that year point, and they go, okay, I really want more functionality. I want these extra things in it. So then, next year, Call of Duty Ghosts come out. Well, lo and behold, you did get some of that functionality, but you also get a fun little dog you get to play with this round. Isn't that fun? We added this little quirky thing. It's a dog in the game. Then lo and behold, games like the Call of Duty series, they try and kind of overstep those bounds, and they fail. That's why there is a collective of Call of Duty games, and really, like, in total, I think people like 5 of them.
Holy shit, this really
where
does go into
Pokemon
outer space.
is a generally liked series wholly. And I mean, I personally like Pokemon too because Game Freak came from Ape Entertainment, the dudes that made Earthbound, my favorite game ever. So Pokemon will always have a +1 in my book just because of that.
What do they need to do? What does Infinity Ward need to do to make Call of Duty great again?
Chris.
So this is what I think that Call of Duty is kind of like. It's like your James Bond series almost, but like forget the fact that it had like the modern James Bonds in a way, right? They're all going to be action packed, have a high level of graphics, have like good voice acting, a lot of money spent on it, right? And some of them are going to come out really great, and some of them are going to come out really shit. And that's just like the nature of the movie business, and it seems to be the nature of these type of blockbuster action games too, where every now and again they get just a really great mixture, I don't know what it is, of talent and cool game mechanics, and it just comes out really great, which is what the case of Black Ops was. It was a really fun single player and a fun multiplayer. Not a great game for like lasting game, but it was fun. I had a great time. It was like
Black Ops
like
is fun.
a good Die Hard film or something like that. Like it was. I had a fun time, and it had a lot of explosions, and it was very high fidelity. And so what I hope out of this game is we're going to get some pretty like tricked out, single player.
You know what I
campaign.
noticed though?
And hold on, let me just finish. And then as well as like a lot of like really cool ways you can interact with the environment. So it looks like you can do a lot of running along the walls, a lot of lifting. They give you a lot of cool items to mess with. And I just think all that could come together really nicely, assuming they executed well on that vision. Go ahead.
But what I noticed, I'm not sure which one of them copied the other, but what it was showing from part of the multiplayer shit in the preview, where there's like this half-round portion of the map that you're running along the wall and then jumping over to the half-round portion of the map. It's going around some little room or whatever. It was exactly the fucking same as Lawbreakers.
Yeah, or Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, if anyone.
No, specifically Lawbreakers. It was exactly the same.
Oh,
map.
you mean scene per? You meant for the scene. I thought you were talking about the action.
Just the map and the mechanics and everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was very, very similar to the Cliffy.
And I don't know which one of them was necessarily copying the other, but it's like one of the two of them was just sitting there going, hey, this is the thing that people are looking to do. Let's take this shit and run with it. And to me, it just says neither one of you knows what the fuck you're doing, because that's not that fun.
That's like EA's model. EA's model is, hey, this shit seems to work. Let's just roll with it.
But this game continues to look cooler the more. So I'm checking out some of the other streams on, other trailers on Steam, and they of course have built out an entire zombie mode, as they often do. This one also features like a giant Stargate that you come out of, and like it's like fully discoed out and has all. It looks like more like a zombie GTA. There's breakdancing zombies. This just looks like a cool game. I have a feeling that this is going to be a good one.
I like it. It may be cool, but I think I'll stick to Doom Online and Overwatch.
There are people who play for the multiplayer, and there are people who play for the zombies. They put that big zombie stuff there, Chris, because that's to inspire other audience.
I get that, but they've had a history of having pretty good, like Modern Warfare 2 had a zombie mode that was like considered to be very good.
I played it with my brother. Actually, that was one of the
first Black Ops.
They're doing another zombie mode where they're trying to make it a theme park flair, because that makes all the differences.
Yeah, they definitely borrowed
the setting that the zombies are coming at you in, and that makes it more fun.
And where you get to play on a picnic table because you're.
I just remember I got a gun called the Wonder Waffle that zapped all the zombies, and then it was good.
Wonder Waffle.
I did see like a lot of sci-fi being packed into that. They had one of the guns from Ghostbusters. They walked out of a Stargate.
I should hope that there was a lot of fucking sci-fi in a game called Infinite Warfare that's about being at war in space.
You never know. It could honestly all just take place underground with mole people. I expect to see mole people the next one.
It's about being at war in space. It better not be
underground with mole people. When is next?
Didn't we see this game made like 10 years ago? It was called Halo 2.
Yeah, you would think, right? Caitlin, what were you saying?
I was saying, speaking of being underground with, you said mole people, but I thought aliens. When's the next Gears of War? That's something.
Who the hell knows? They just recently remade the original Gears of War.
Oh, no, there is another Gears of War being made. I like that series.
I think it already
released. You gotta play the third one, though.
I'm a fan.
You are? I thought that I like the plot of Gears of War a lot. I like the story, and
I like the characters. They're actually like.
And
so
Marcus is
personality.
believable.
Yeah.
He's a believable criminal that
Ge-
just like is fighting for humans.
yeah, no,
to fight.
Gears of War 4 is already released. It
Warfare.
released legitimately about it released on the 11th, so like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
It's been out.
The 4th or
Yeah, Gears of War 4 released already this month.
There we
really?
go.
Yeah.
Shoot! I wish I had a console to play it on.
I mean,
if only people
yeah.
gave a damn about Xbox anymore.
Oh,
Is it-
yeah, that's
Huh.
true.
Oh my god.
First two Gears of War were on PC. I don't know why they aren't.
No, they were 360.
Were they? I had a friend who played.
There
the
was
first
no
one.
PC version.
There is a PC version of Gears of War 4, so there
Now.
you go.
Now
Yeah,
there's a PC
there's
version
gonna-
of Gears of War 4, but the originals, no.
No, the originals were only on 360, but the new one is going to be crossed between
However,
Xbox and Microsoft.
Wait.
I
No,
might
no,
be
no, no,
making
no.
a purchase
And
soon.
Microsoft.
Hang on. I can actually verify this.
Not
one. So
technically
Gears of War-
cross-platform, so
The original Gears of War was recently remade. It's called Gears of War Ultimate Edition for Windows 10, trademark. And then, of course, you've got the Gears of War 4 released
Oh my
natively
God.
on Xbox
I-
and PC.
I just saw one of the animations that they did where the group of guys on the stairs got hit with the explosive, and the animation was fucking stupid. The guy that was closest to the camera, his legs instantly picked up into the air, and he was flailing like, ah, as he floated off camera.
Well,
Like, what?
I think the bigger question here, Eli, was his shoes on the entire time? Because if his
They
shoes
were.
fell off at any point,
He
was
did
dead.
not get knocked out like Mike Tyson just punched
Did he
him.
poop himself? That's how you know he's dead.
Yeah.
That would have been great, though.
But
Did
he's
he-
serious.
did he-
He had his legs, like his feet, picked up behind him and was just flailing like, as he floated off camera. Like it was
Okay,
a fucking
so-
cartoon.
What
I
I'm really
have a
getting
feeling that
from
this
this
game's gonna
trailer
do
and
well
what we
this
can say
Christmas.
is this is just another Call of Duty. I think we can expect to see not only like a new game in a year, but we're going to see different advancements and everything else. And possibly, if this game does well, lo and behold, we'll probably see a Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
We are
That too.
always going to see a Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Battlefield Earth type games. We're always going to see that. It's just guaranteed.
Battlefield Earth.
I would love
Oh,
to see
God,
a
no.
John
Battlefield.
Travolta's
Oh,
gonna
good
no.
old Travolta.
They're gonna do the thing that they did to Kevin
Fucking
Spacey for the last
Scientology
Call of Duty, but with John Travolta.
You know we need a Battlefield Earth game.
Technology games, I will personally see to it that the video game industry gets burned to the ground if they start making serious Scientology games.
If
Ooh, I
you
like
see that,
I
or
like
Demons would be
Torch's
great.
one, Assassin's Duty, Call of Creed.
Yeah, I look
Total
forward-
Duty Hammer Creed.
There you go.
Total Duty Warhammer. Why not? Why not?
Total Duty is a great name for any Warhammer game.
I
by
don't
the
know
way.
why we don't just have a crossover between
I just-
Call of Duty and Madden at this point.
Total Duty.
I still can't believe they actually named their game Total War Warhammer. I mean, I just can't believe they did that.
Yeah,
And they
they
just
really
didn't give
did
a
not
fuck.
think of that
They
one.
were like sat in the boardroom and they were like Total War Warhammer, and then they all patted themselves in the back.
And then it sucked.
Yeah, and then they released it, and everyone was like, "Oh, this game's just like Warhammer mixed with Total War." Fuck, I'd rather go play one of those games.
What else would you expect from a Total War Warhammer McWarface type game? I mean, after
Some more
Tyler-
Total Warhammer.
Call of
McWarface
Duty.
McWarface.
Oh,
All right,
but
I
that-
think we've said enough about this.
I don't
just
think so.
ever so
Yeah.
mediocre
I
thing.
agree, Rob. I think
you know,
and
if it gets good reviews, I'll probably buy it.
No, hey,
Yeah.
Chris, don't. In actuality, don't get me wrong. I think the Call of Duties, the Battlefield games, they have their place and purpose. They're the type of game that you can sit down and you can play for 10 minutes, or you can sit down and play for 4 hours, and you're going to get the same experience the entire time. Some people
Can't
really
stop
like that.
Buying every single one. The last one I bought was Black Ops, and
No,
the
no,
one
no, no,
before
I get that,
was
but-
Call of Duty 2 and 1. So I skip like 3, and then I find that like every few years I really love one, and then I just take a break.
It's kind of the same
Can
with
I-
like the Madden games. It's I feel like a lot of people carry the same mentality with the Call of Duty games that they do with every new issue of a sports game.
You know what?
I want more functionality. I want more content, and they're
more
hopefully going
fun
to provide it
skins.
this one.
I want more
Here's my $60.
Well, the thing is, Call of Duty has been the whipping boy. It's been the industry whipping boy for a long time because people see Call of Duty. Oh yeah, more of the same stuff. But again, is that really whose fault is that really? Is it the publishers for putting it out? Is it the developers? No, they want to make money.
Both of them.
Job.
No, it's the game. I would say it's the gamer's fault.
Our fault because
It's the fucking gamer's fault. We're the ones that keep buying it.
Yes.
No, okay, you can try and blame the consumer on it, but there's always going to be idiots out there that feel like they just want to keep shoveling money at somebody that goes, "Ooh, look, you can get this now if you give money."
No, I think that's true.
But that's going to be true no matter what you do. You have companies who are specifically pushing the product just to cater to people that will give them money no matter what. That is not the consumer's fault.
So speaking of pandering, maybe we should promote our stuff this week since we're at the end of the show.
Yeah,
Thank God for that.
Pander. Caitlin's been on camera for like almost 9 hours today.
That's right.
I've been on camera for almost like 12 hours today.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
And we are going to go through the usual spiel. So,
you're going to get camera cancer.
If you want camera cancer.
Hey,
if you want to see the standard, no. If you want to see the standard calendar of crap that we do, you can check it out. Don't commit seppuku first. Read the calendar, then do it. You can check it out at Torchfork Mob. Everybody you see here has a featured show. We're going to start with Chris Kellogg and Kelly. They represent Retro Haven, respectively. They are almost always doing something. Well, there's no respect for Kelly. But
Tomorrow,
Yeah,
I'll be playing Metroid Other M.
Nice.
And it's been a pretty fun game to actually play with an audience. I particularly had a Dr. Algorithm, one of our very own, has been watching a lot of it. He's been enjoying the very terrible writing and terrible translations that game provides. And totally butchered the Super Metroid world because it's a sequel. It's not really a sequel to Super Metroid, but it takes place afterward. However, it's also like super entertaining in the sense of like watching a really terrible movie unfold. But the gameplay is still really enjoyable. So come check it out. It's going to be tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. on right here on Twitch. It'll be Retro Haven. It will be myself playing, and this here Metroid playing alongside.
As long as Adam allows you to do so.
Yes, as long as I have permission from Adam to use one of my very many infinite powers. Right now, I've only have the ability to use missiles.
I don't.
On that
super
same
missiles
note,
come later.
And then Kelly,
I'm
do
going
a
to be
thing.
playing Chrono Trigger after
$1 million.
Continuing on, I'm going to be beating Chrono Trigger, and for anyone that doesn't know, I'm playing out of the original Nintendo strategy guide. I borrowed the actual game from Chris Kellogg. It's awesome. And for anyone that wants to tune in on Friday, I'm going to be starting Seikiden Densetsu 3, otherwise known as Secret of Mana 2, with Jody.
Suikoden?
It's Seikiden. Here, I'll show you.
No, it's not. It's Suikoden. It's a Japanese word. They
Here
don't
comes the
pronounce
arguments.
S.
Oh, that's right. I remembered that I don't care. So I'm going to be playing Secret of Mana 2. And on top of that, we have Jody's World and Saturn Saturdays coming up. Jody is going to be playing a little bit of Dead Space in honor of Halloween, otherwise known as the month of October for a lot of people.
Well, that's right. She'll be up at midnight on the East Coast for it to become Halloween.
That's right. That's a good point.
Awesome.
And then on top of that, we will have Saturn Saturdays on Saturday, which hopefully this Saturday you'll see Chris and I dual streaming some gameage.
We're going to try some pretty funky shit. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of funky shit.
It's probably going to go horribly, but it'll still be entertaining.
It'll be funky, I'll tell you that.
No, we'll get to the game show in a little bit in reference to that. But of course, Caitlin pretty much just lives on Twitch at this point. She's just jacked in all the time. She's streaming pretty much every friggin' thing Nintendo's ever done. Caitlin, what is on your docket?
So before I found out I was working Thursday, I was going to do another marathon of all the different games like I did last Thursday. It seemed pretty fun. Everybody liked it. But because Chili's is an asshole, this Thursday, we're just doing Mario Kart. Friday morning, we're doing some Pokemon. I'm determined to just finish X and Y at some point. You know, Sparkdoodle the fabulous Pikachu is going to sweep everything for me. But Friday night at 10 Eastern, we are going to be doing some Pokemon battles. That means you guys can come battle me, and I will give you Pokemon as rewards for winning. Right now, up for giveaway, we have a shiny Spheal named Mr. Tickles. You could be the proud owner of Mr. Tickles.
Mr. Tickles. You're going to get to keep Mr. Tickles so that Mr. Tickles can use his tickle powers on you
I am
all the time.
almost certain that we won't be able to show the giveaway until after prime time. Because anything else would probably...
Yeah, especially if we're going by BBC standards, you know, for after Watershed, what's acceptable.
Yeah,
but it's
my
a good
brother
thing we have
has
no
this
standards.
thing. He messages me. He's like, Caitlin, can we give this away? And I'm like, give it a fabulous name. And yeah, we will.
Indeed.
And finally, the game show is Eli's baby. What the hell are we going to be doing this Thursday?
This Thursday, we're going to be doing a little more of Jackbox Party Pack 3 because I really enjoyed the fuck out of that. And hopefully this time, shit's not going to crash as we're getting close to the end of the show. I was having a lot of fun. I wanted to keep fucking playing, and shit started crashing. And it's because, fuck you, Microsoft. That's why.
That was fun, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Just random fucking bullshit telling me I was running out of memory. I got 32 fucking gigs of RAM. There's no reason why I should be running out of memory playing fucking Jackbox, which uses 2D fucking graphics. Fuck you, Microsoft.
Fuck you.
That's what we're doing.
So there you go. We're going to be screaming at Microsoft the entire stream.
Yes.
It'll just be all of
We're
us
probably
screaming
gonna
into
play
cameras.
some Brawlhalla in there too, because Zach sounded like he really wanted to play some Brawlhalla last week, but Party Pack 3 was new. We had to do some shit with
Party
that.
pack.
Why don't we all just roll back to like Windows 98? Maybe that's
Seriously.
two things.
Fuck this bullshit with Microsoft regressing over time. They need to fucking improve, and they're not doing it.
I still have had no problems with Windows 10 and think it's a fantastic operating
matter.
system.
Rob, not everyone.
Same. I feel the same way, guys.
Yeah? I have no problems with it.
Two out of
It's a great
3
operating system.
users.
But anyway,
I'm sorry that you have had issues.
Doesn't matter. We have a situation where one of our popular shows going on stream gets completely fucking interrupted out of nowhere because of random issues with their software.
maybe that's why we've never had an issue here.
reason.
I blame the consumer.
I
Again.
blame everyone. But that is the show for tonight. The rest of us are going to go and dry off and detox. Join us again next
No, we're not.
Tuesday.
Don't
No,
say that. We're not
we're
going to go dry off and detox.
That's true. We're going to drink more. Join us next Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. You know, the only coast that matters. I am Slave to Machine. This is the random bunch of crazies for Torchfork Tuesday. Check us out at torchforkmob.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to YouTube. Throw us money. Whatever. We're going to have swag at some point, but today is not that day. Good night, everybody.
Oh, and Steven,
Good night.
Yes. Wait. Before we go. Go.
Saints Row. When?
Saints Row. When? Soon.
It's not
Yeah.
good.
Oh my God.
That's the newest title of the game.